Gil Martin here, and welcome to the 10th episode of the Daily Packers Post. Great to be with you here today, talking a little Green Bay Packers football. The issue I wanted to discuss today, how do things look different for the Green Bay Packers over the next few games without Christian Watson in the lineup? We saw Watson go down against the Minnesota Vikings. The injury looked really scary, could have been season-ending. Thankfully, the initial reports are that it is not serious. He's probably not going to be placed on the IR, but at the same time, a high ankle sprain can take a little time. And Matt LaFleur did essentially rule out Christian Watson for Sunday's game against the LA Rams. So Watson is the kind of player that is a difference maker, even when he's not catching the ball. Because of his size, and, of course, his speed, opposing defenses have to account for Watson. And just by running a particular pattern with Watson down the field, the Packers are able to open things up for their other receivers because of the way safeties have to account for him and defensive coordinators have to account for where Watson is on the field because they fear his size and his speed. So the first way that I think things are going to be a little different. In the NFL, the old cliche is next man up. Well, that's going to mean more targets for Bo Melton and Malik Heath. They are the 5th and 6th wide receivers on the depth chart. And they really didn't see a lot of action in the first 3 games. I mean, Melton didn't have any targets at all. Heath only played 11 snaps in the 2 games he was active for, and he wasn't even active at all in the third. But we did see Heath catch 2 passes after the injury to Watson. Bo Melton also saw more action, had 3 targets, made his first catch of the year. I think we're going to see more of them, and they will get more opportunities on the field to show what they can do over the next week or 2 without Watson in the lineup. The other thing is this, and the second of the 5 topics I wanted to discuss. We know the Packers need to find another way to stretch the field if you don't have Christian Watson. So how do you best go about doing that? One thing is, I think we're going to see a little more Luke Musgrave. Now, Tucker Kraft has gotten more reps than Musgrave in the first 4 games. That may continue, but Musgrave is one of those rare tight ends that does have the ability to stretch the field and go deep down the seam. And if Watson is not available to do that, Musgrave is going to get some more chances to see the field and maybe run some of those deep patterns. And because he's a tight end, you may get a safety on Luke Musgrave. That could be a size mismatch. You may get a linebacker on Luke Musgrave. That would be a speed mismatch. So, again, Matt LaFleur will have to try to find ways to create more opportunities and sort of substitute the production and the respect that Christian Watson gets, and Luke Musgrave may be one of those options. Obviously, Musgrave has to block a little bit better, I think, and be a little more consistent. Tucker Kraft not coming out of the lineup because he has done really, really well, but I think Musgrave will get some more reps, and maybe we'll see a few more two tight end formations as a result of Christian Watson's absence. The next thing is this. I think we're going to see Matt LaFleur do something that he's really good at, and that is scheming receivers open. The Packers last year were among the best teams in the league at, scheming receivers open, having open receivers and wide open receivers over the course of the season. I think we see more of that, and LaFleur, just like he was creative when Malik Willis was the quarterback instead of Jordan Love, and he devised, jet sweeps and almost played like out of a single wing at times to create more fakes before handing the ball off and made more pass plays that would be easier for Malik Willis, played to his strengths and help build his confidence, I think we'll see a similar situation where LaFleur is just going to, reach into his bag of tricks and use more strategies to scheme some of his receivers open, even if he's not able to necessarily, have Christian Watson to help him do that. The next thing on the list to me may be a little obvious, but it's Jayden Reed is going to be your number one receiver. And I think he already was the number one receiver, but I think even more so. I mean, Reed a year ago led the team in catches and receiving yards and tied for the team lead in touchdown receptions, despite only playing 56% of the snaps, being the slot receiver, and he even missed a game. And yet, this year, already 17 catches on 22 targets, 336 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's averaging more than 19 yards a catch this season. And he's also run the ball 6 times for a touchdown and 91 yards. I think we see more Jayden Reed. He will continue to be a big play factor on this team and really be, I think, the go-to receiver. Yeah, he was already that, but I think we see him be that even more in the absence of Christian Watson. And as a secondary thing, I think we see with Jordan Love back, a little more Romeo Doubs as well. I'm sort of making this 2-part of one way that we're going to see differences in the offense. Romeo Doubs goes in. He is sort of the security blanket that Jordan Love has. If it's 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 6, very often he's looking for Romeo Doubs. I think he continues to do that, and Doubs will get more targets as well. And Doubs is not the deep threat that Reed can be, that, Luke Musgrave can be, but he's reliable. And, if you have other players going deep, Doubs underneath could be the beneficiary of that situation. And then 5th and final way, Dontavian Wicks takes over as the top deep threat among wide receivers. Last year, after Christian Watson was hurt, we saw Wicks step up and finish the season strong as a result of his deep speed. I think he is next among the receivers for pure deep speed and the ability to make those big plays downfield. So I think we see more Dontavian Wicks, and we see him going deep down the field more often. Now, Wicks has struggled a little bit. He has only 8 catches this year, even though he's tied with Jayden Reed with 22 targets on the year. Last year, when Watson was injured, Wicks stepped up. He's been a little disappointing with the drops and the inconsistency early this year, but here is the big opportunity for Dontavian Wicks to show that, yeah, I got off to a slow start, but you know what? I can be the guy. And I think we see more from him over the next week or 2 or 3 or 4, however long that Christian Watson is out. As for Watson himself, so frustrating to see him go through all these difficulties, all these injuries. I mean, there was nobody at fault on that play that saw him get hurt. It was a little bit of a bad pass, a suicide ball, a hospital ball, as they say in football. And it's unfortunate. We're thankful that Christian Watson wasn't hurt badly, and hopefully he can begin to get his act together, stay healthy, and have a strong season after only missing a couple of games. So the more healthy that Jordan Love gets, that'll benefit the offense as well. I think there are, plenty of options for the Packers without Christian Watson, but having Watson in that lineup obviously can be a difference maker for the Packers. So for more in-depth daily coverage of your Green Bay Packers, check out thepackerspost.com. We got new stories every day. And look for our videos here on YouTube. Subscribe. and check us out because we will give you more in-depth daily Packers coverage. I'm Gil Martin. Thanks for watching the Daily Packers Post. And of course, go Pack Go.